This is Abe Friedtanzer from Awards Buzz, and I'm very excited to be speaking with Richie Moriarty about ghosts. How are you, Richie?
I'm great, Abe. How are you?
Good, good. I want to start off today by saying that I spend a lot of my time doing this kind of thing, talking to actors, writing about movies and TV, but I'm also a part-time travel agent. So it's fun to be able to dig into this very good representation of travel agents that we don't often see on television.
I love meeting somebody with travel agency roots. That's great.
Well, my question is that you? Are you the kind of person who likes to plan trips or not your thing at all?
I'm a total planner. My wife makes fun of me. We went to when my son was like a year old, we went to Paris for a week together. And I planned my trips around food. Because like that's why, especially if you're going to a place like Paris, it's like, hey, let's eat our way through Paris. So I had like a spreadsheet which like where we were eating for breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day, reservations everywhere, places to stop in between for like croissants and coffee. And so yes, I'm definitely a planner when it comes to travel.
Good to hear. How do you think you're like Pete in other ways, or
Oh
not
man.
like Pete?
I mean, Pete, we're very dissimilar in a lot of ways. Like he's such an optimist in a way that I am not. I think I'm a pessimist by nature. My wife and I balance each other out really well that way. She's incredibly positive and I am always like finding, the reason to be pessimistic in any situation, but yeah, I think, he a student of improv, which is the background I come from. I come from a sketch and improv background. I was an improviser for like 15 years before I started Ghosts. So that we definitely have in common. I think he's very happy-go-lucky too, and I think I am as well. I think, when I hope that most of my friends would describe me that way. I'm always looking to have a good time and to laugh, so I think we share that in common as well.
Hopefully, your friends are a little nicer to you though than Pete's friends are to him.
Right? I mean, this guy is a punching bag.
It's
He
really
finally
so
got
sad. He's
some
such a nice guy.
he got some wins this season, which was nice. But yeah, I mean, Pete has taken a beating over the past couple two seasons.
Well, it has been fun to see some new stuff for him in season three. What is it like to work with Caroline Aaron and just to have her become a bigger part of the show?
Was so great. I mean, to be able to look her in the eyes directly and have her be able to look back at me this season was amazing. Caroline is so great. She's, a joy to have on set. It's funny, like she's one of those actors who's just been in everything, right? My wife and I were watching Edward Scissorhands recently. We were like rewatching it, and she's in Edward Scissorhands, and I had no idea. I totally don't remember her being in that, mostly because I didn't know of her, I think, when I originally watched it. But she's done so many incredible character parts through her career, and it's been so fun to have her on set and so fun to actually get to interact with her and have scenes with her. So it was really, really fun to do that this season.
I was also happy to see Allegra Edwards, though I'm not sure that she's going to be sticking around in the same way. I'm a fan of Upload, so it's nice to see her also even in a similar kind of role where she's not really there, but I'm sure she's a fun co-star.
Oh my gosh, she was the best. It was really, really nice to have her on set. She and I have a bunch of mutual friends, mostly from the sketch and improv world, but we had not met, so it was really lovely to have her there. And yeah, I hope, hopefully Pete will be jaunting off to St. Lucia to go visit her in future seasons. But yeah, she was a real joy. We had so much fun in the days she worked with us.
It's been great to see this whole ghost power thing really come up a lot more prominently in season three. And while we thought entering someone's dreams might be the coolest thing, I think the ability to leave the property, terrifying as it is to that hellhole of a store, I think it's pretty cool that Pete has this.
100%. I mean, like when, as actors on set, when we read the script where Sass's ghost power was revealed, we were like, oh, you're so lucky. Because not only do you get to like interact with Utkarsh, but you get to like enter into all of these different worlds. I mean, the possibilities are truly endless. And then when we found out Pete's ghost power in our table read for that episode, everyone was like, well, sorry, Roman, you've been trumped. He's got the best ghost power. So yeah, I mean, I'm so excited. I was talking with the writers. I guess it was just a couple weeks ago. I was out in LA and I visited the writers' room. They're up and running, and it's really exciting just to hear about the possibilities for where this can take Pete how he can sort of like run errands for the other ghosts now and get off the property and do other things. So I'm very excited to see what happens in season 4 with this power.
What would you like to see for him personally in terms of his growth in season 4?
Well, it's funny. I was talking to the writers and I was like, I mean, Pete could like go into the Oval Office and like hear plans for like where the country's headed, before anybody knows. And our showrunners and one of our writers, Guy, was like, yeah, I think we're gonna keep it like mostly at Woodstone. He's like, I don't know if Pete will be venturing into international affairs, but yeah, I mean, there's a like I think there are ghosts on other parts of the property. I mean, as an example, Shiki, like Roman's love interest from way back in the day, like he could go visit Shiki and, be a messenger for Sass in that way. Thorfinn's son is next door, so I could go next door and talk to his son. So there's a lot of stuff like that I'm really excited about. And it just like opens up the opportunity to work with other great guest stars too, which is always exciting. So yeah, I'm very excited about it.
I like the Oval Office pitch. I just don't think he's quite that ambitious. I feel like better to like smell some famous restaurant down the street
Totally.
from the White House.
Totally. Yeah, he's gonna go to some campfire nearby and hope that people make s'mores. Yeah.
One of the things I like about the show is that it seems like people really get to work with everyone else, but is there any actor in the ensemble you feel like you haven't really had proper screen time with?
That's funny. The writers and showrunners asked me the same question. And I feel like, Pete's relationship with Isaac hasn't been explored too much. We've only had, one, maybe two scenes where it's just the two of us. And I think one of those scenes was when Pete was talking about his whitewater river rafting fantasy with Lonnie Anderson. So a bizarre scene. But yeah, I adore Brandon. He's so much fun, and he and I have a great time on set. So it'd be really fun to do more with Isaac this coming season.
I feel like that's a sign, though, of a very good working environment that they asked you that question, because presumably that means that they want to ensure that everybody is sharing scenes and that you're having the best experience possible.
I mean, they're so generous and they are so open to hearing our input and how we're feeling about everything. And I think especially in their as they're in the formulation process for upcoming seasons, they're really anxious to talk to us and hear, do you guys have ideas? What are you thinking? How are you feeling about your character in general? How are you feeling about relationships with other ghosts? So I think, it's really I feel so fortunate that this show is working at all and that we get to continue to make it. But the fact that our showrunners are really open to hearing from us and value our input is huge because I know that doesn't happen all the time in creative situations like this.
Similarly, I think shows don't always last that long. A lot of people I talk to don't know if their shows are coming back, and it's nice that with these ghost powers, I think this show is sort of being reinvented a little because I feel like it could run for many, many seasons. Is Pete the kind of character you could play for eternity?
Yeah, I mean, look, when he's given a gift like this ghost power that kind of opens a whole new world, that's when it becomes really exciting as an actor because you're like, "Oh, I could be put in any manner of situations," including like being chased by the butcher with a cleaver in his head at a at like a Costco kind of store. But yeah, that's what makes this role really interesting for me is that the more backstory we learn and the more our characters are given more information about their pasts and their powers, that it gets more interesting and all of a sudden the character has more dimension and also like we have we enter into new relationships like I did with Allegra's character this season and that reveals new sides of our characters as well. So it's been really nice to kind of get to play in this world and like you say continue to see other sides of the world itself and as a result the characters.
You obviously have great scripts you're working with. Has your improv background helped you in this show?
For sure. I mean, like, you know, some of our directors really love incorporating improv when we can. It's always tough in a 21-minute sitcom to kind of work something in that will make it for time because like, man, our editors and showrunners have a really hard time getting these down to 21 minutes. I so wish that there would be like 28-minute cuts of these that people could watch online afterwards because some of our favorite parts, end up on the cutting room floor. But yeah, not only has it helped because I'm able to improvise a bit on set, but I'd say mostly, improv is such an ensemble art form. You're always on stage with roughly 4 to 6 other people. So it's so much about listening to your scene partners, playing off of your scene partners, making them look good. And so to have that background was huge coming into a show like this because it is a true ensemble in a way that most other shows on TV are not. We literally like travel as a pack of ghosts so often, we're very often in the kitchen, all 8 of us, squawking at Sam and Jay. So it's really nice to be able to use all of the skills that I learned, in my years as an improviser in this show. It really does translate very well.
That's great. Well, before I let you go, I do want to ask you about other shows because we love awards here at Awards Buzz. And I'm
Yeah.
curious if there's another show or performance you've seen recently that you feel is particularly awards worthy.
Oh man. Yes. Couldn't be further from the world of ghosts, but I just watched Ripley on Netflix, and Andrew Scott is like astonishing. I find him to be, I mean, like, I think I really discovered him in Fleabag, Hot Priest, but like, I've since watched a lot of his Shakespearean stuff online. He's just an like I think he's a once in a generation actor. And Ripley, I loved Ripley as a show, but his performance was just so captivating. He's one of those people that I will watch do anything. I think he's insanely gifted.
So that's a great answer. It's really fun to dive into Pete with you. Thank you so much, Richie. I look forward to speaking to you again in the future about
Uh,
season 17.
would love, hey, from your lips. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.